In Star Wars, the Sith ruled through power and fear. While thought to be extinct for thousands of years, they were in fact working in secret to conquer the galaxy. Between using forbidden Force abilities and pushing the limits of the Force, the Sith became so powerful, they changed the fate of the galaxy forever. In this video, let's look at some of the most powerful Sith to ever exist. Starting things off with Darth Maul. He was raised and trained by none other than Palpatine to be his perfect Sith weapon. Molded by him at a very young age, he would do whatever he was asked. While many Sith focused on dark side abilities with the Force, what makes Maul so special was his ability with the lightsaber and a double-bladed saber to add to that. Maul would fight Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and makes his first Star Wars appearance in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. After defeating Qui-Gon, Obi would then slice him in half where he is presumed dead, but he actually stays alive due to his rage and hatred in wanting to get revenge on Obi-Wan. We see this all happen in the Clone Wars animated series, and it is so satisfying to watch. After losing his place in the Sith alongside Palpatine, Maul would rebuild himself through the crime scene and eventually become the ruler of Mandalore while holding the Darksaber. Eventually, Maul would be stopped for good by Obi-Wan, as we see in Star Wars Rebels, but it's crazy how Maul's hatred for one man kept him going for all of these years and doing so much in the galaxy. Darth Plagueis was trained by Darth Tenebris, and he would become one of the most powerful and legendary characters in Star Wars. He had an obsession with being immortal, and according to Sith legend, he could prevent people from dying. This comes into play as Palpatine uses this as a last effort to have Anakin join him. Plagueis was the master of Palpatine, as well as Palpatine would eventually turn on him and end him in his sleep. Plagueis could even use Force Lightning and absorb blaster fire, which is crazy. Like most Sith, his ego got way too big, and eventually he felt that the rule of two wasn't necessary, and he was so powerful that he viewed himself as the ultimate Sith. One of my personal favorites is with Darth Tyrannus, also known as Count Dooku. Once a Jedi who was trained by Yoda and would then become the master to Qui-Gon, Dooku would betray the Jedi Order as he felt they were too blinded by what was happening around the galaxy. He joins Palpatine and solidifies his decision to become a Sith by defeating Yaddle on Coruscant. Count Dooku had a key part in the Clone Wars and the Separatist movement, as he would recruit Jango Fett to be the genetic template for the clone army. He was widely regarded as the best duelist in the galaxy. Even the strongest Force users would struggle at keeping up with him. You combine his use of Force Lightning with his lightsaber skills, and he was a true Force, no pun intended. While he did leave the Jedi to join the Sith, the skills and lessons he learned from the Jedi Order could be helpful as well, and the more knowledge you gain is only a bigger benefit to you in the end. When talking about Darth Nihilus, we need to start at taking a look at the survival of the super weapon in the Mandalorian Wars. He witnessed everything on and around the planet no longer exist, and it made him crave Force energy. This gave him immense pain and would make him a wound in the Force, essentially. He was found by Kreia, who was a former Jedi but turned Sith, who promised that she could teach him and feed him his endless hunger, and he obviously accepts. He became so powerful that he would literally call upon the dark side of the Force to encase his spirits with his mask and armor to stay alive. Soon after this, he would begin the first Jedi Purge. And we can't forget that he could even drain life from planets. Very few Sith possessed power remotely close to this scale. Darth Revan is going to provide us with another reoccurring theme as another Jedi has turned Sith. He would establish his own Sith empire during the Mandalorian Wars, and he would be the master of Darth Malak. And together they discovered the Starforge, which was a dark side factory and was used to build a massive fleet to conquer the Republic. They did create a new Sith empire, which was different than the Sith empire that the fans think of in Star Wars. He was so powerful, he invaded Republic worlds, survived torture, and could even pull down meteors. There was no shot this video was being made without including Darth Vader. Formerly Anakin Skywalker, he was defeated on Mustafar by Obi-Wan, and that rage is similar to Darth Maul and how it kept him motivated. He was a menace across Star Wars and would hunt down anyone who Palpatine asked him to. He was so strong, Even though his body was heavily compromised and needed the armor to survive, he was still miles ahead in strength and power compared to 99.9% of people that he fought. And while everything about Darth Vader has been said about how strong and just awesome he is, even if you aren't the biggest Star Wars fan, or even a Star Wars fan in general, you see a picture of him and you immediately recognize who he is and what he's about. A lesser known Star Wars character to some could be with Darth Bane. He would change the Sith forever, as he was the creator of the famous Rule of Two. Only a master and apprentice would exist at a time. Doing this would ensure that the Sith would grow stronger with each generation. Funny enough, we see this trend with basically every Sith, but his apprentice would defeat him. His legacy is unmatched, and it reshaped the galaxy forever for generations to come. Arguably the strongest Sith ever has to be Darth Vitiate, also known as Tenebrae. He was so powerful, people often referred to him as a literal Sith god. He got his power from tricking thousands of Sith Lords into a ritual which consumed their life force from the planet Nathema, and he took this power and practically became an immortal entity. He is insane. Another thing that's insane is with Emperor Palpatine. Arguably the most famous name I've said so far besides Darth Vader, he was truly one of a kind. In order to control the galaxy, he played both sides of the Clone Wars, and the Jedi were clueless. He played the long game in remaining silent for years. He was a master of basically every dark side move you can think of, from the common force push or pull to force lightning and so much more. His manipulation was the true dominating factor that he had, as he was able to convince Anakin to join him, and together they could rule the galaxy. He succeeded at this and taking over the galaxy and taking out pretty much every single Jedi. Between two of the most powerful people in the galaxy and the creation of the Death Star, it was an unstoppable force to be reckoned with, and the Empire was everywhere. Eventually, like with every single Sith master and apprentice, Darth Vader did turn on Palpatine and threw him off the Death Star, killing him. Well, so we thought. But regardless, this reshaped the galaxy, as people are still loyal to the Empire even after the defeat, and trying to bring it back constantly and want to rule in his honor. Darth Krayt would once again fall into a similar pattern, as a former Jedi who survived the Jedi Purge would fall to the Sith. As a Jedi, he was known as a Shard Het, and after the fall of the Jedi, he would seek refuge with the Tusken Raiders. He would be the founder of a new Sith order called the One Sith, and it abandoned the Rule of Two in favor of the new Rule of One, showing loyalty to only one person, with that being Krayt. Numerous darkside users were trained in this new order that was made. So over the years, we've seen many Sith rise and fall, but some tend to stand above the rest. So let me know which Sith is your personal favorite, and were they in this video, or is it one that I didn't mention? Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more content around the galaxy, and I'll see you in the next one.